Hello YouTube, let's talk about ick. That is something you are going to deal with at some point in your lifetime if you stay with this hobby. Whether it's your reef tank, whether you call it your aquarium, your saltwater aquarium, fish tank, whatever you call it in this reef hobby, you guys are going to deal with ick. So let me give you in layman's terms basically what ick is. Ick is a shortened version of a word that's about 50 letters long that I can't even pronounce. So if you want the official scientific term, you can look it up because I don't even know how to pronounce it. But basically, in layman's terms, ick is a parasite that attaches to your fish. A lot of times, it comes in on your fish from the local fish store. So it lives on your fish for a little while, drops off your fish in what I could only describe as it's been described to me as like a little orb that's like encased in like a sphere, and it drops down and it sits in your sand bed for several weeks. Some scientists have shown that the ick will sit in your sand bed for up to 72 days before it hatches. And once it hatches, the organism starts swimming around your fish tank looking for another host. If your fish are sitting in the fish tank, they're going to attach back onto your fish, and the whole cycle starts over again. And every time they land in the sand and hatch and become free swimmers again, they multiply. So you can have more and more and more ick in your fish tank. If you Google ick medication, you're going to get all kinds of cockamamie results. Rid ick, ick be gone, ick X, ick powder, special ick fish food. Do yourself a favor, don't believe the hype. If any of you guys buy that stuff, you're wasting your money. There's only one thing to get ick out of your display tank, and that is to break the cycle of ick. Basically, how do you break the cycle of ick? You take the fish out of your tank. Pretty easy, right? Not so fast. Take a look around here, okay? Look at the rock and the coral in that tank. If you get an ick breakout and you have to remove the fish, you're going to have to deal with all the rock and the coral. You're probably going to have to take all that stuff out and get the fish out of your tank and then rebuild your rock formation. So, getting back to ick medications. Don't believe the hype. Rid ick, ick be gone, ick X, any of that stuff. It's not going to work. Like I said, the only thing that's going to work is you get the fish out of your tank and you treat them in a quarantine tank. What happens then is, since there's no host in your fish tank, when the ick hatches and swims around your fish tank looking for a host and there's no fish in there, it will starve to death and it will eventually die off. To be on the safe side, my tank went 72 days with no fish in it. Now, your corals and your shrimp and snails and all that stuff, they can stay in there because ick doesn't live on them. Just the fish need to go into quarantine for 72 days. That's how long I waited, and I don't want to jinx myself, but we've been ick free for a little while. So what works is cupramine, okay? This stuff, copper. Do not put this stuff in your display tank, okay? If you get an ick breakout, do not think that, oh, I can just treat my fish tank with this, because what it will do is it will kill your invertebrates, your corals, your shrimp, any of that stuff will die, and the ick will absorb into your live rock. And your live, no, I'm sorry, not the ick. The ick won't absorb into your live rock. The copper will absorb into your live rock, and it will secrete copper into your tank for a long time, and it will keep killing off your invertebrates. So, to get ick out of your tank, get the fish out of your tank and put them in quarantine. Okay? Basically, you're eliminating 1/3 of the cycle. The cycle is the ick live on the fish, they drink their blood, they drop off, they sit in the sand, they hatch, they swim around, they reattach to the fish. If there's no fish in the tank, the cycle is broken, the ick starve to death. It's really, really simple. Now, how do you keep ick from going into your fish tank? Treat every fish like it has ick before it goes into your display tank. And what I mean when I say this is when you buy a new fish, no matter how awesome your local fish store is, I happen to love my local fish store, Jay's Aquatics in Salem, New Hampshire. They're the best ones. They're the best fish store you can go to as far as if you're in this reef tank hobby. High quality stuff, plenty of equipment, plenty of fish. Everything I have in this tank I've gotten at Jay's. So if you're in the New England area, check them out. But anyway, even though I love Jay's so much, you still have to quarantine your tank, because if one fish sneaks in to their tanks with ick, then their tanks are infected and the fish are infected. So coming up, I don't want to get too long in this video, but I'm going to do a couple videos on the several ways to get rid of ick once ick live on your fish, and that's going to be in quarantine. There's 3 major ways. Treating them with copper, which is what I do. It's stressful to the fish because copper is actually poisonous to fish, so you really have to maintain proper levels of copper, and you have to test for that copper and make sure you're not overdosing your fish. The second is hyposalinity. Ick cannot live in fresh water, and they can't live in real low salt levels. That's the second way. And the third way is the tank transfer method. That method, you need 2 fish tanks, and you have to move your fish back and forth between tanks several times throughout the quarantine process. But like I said, I'll go through that in a series coming up. I'm going to do each one, do a video on each one coming up, so hopefully that'll help you guys. This is how I learned. I watched these videos on these guys that had some experience, and by no means am I saying that I'm a reef professional. I've been in this hobby for about 2 years now. This tank's been up and running for 2 years, and I love it. It's a really great hobby once you get into it. It's really enjoyable. So anyway, that being said, I'll give you a little tank update. Boy, I had to clean out my reactor, my GFO and carbon reactor yesterday. I'd gone a long time without cleaning it out, and it was filthy. The pads were filthy. It took the better part of 2 hours to clean that thing out. If you're going to get this hobby, stay with the maintenance schedule. Do your water changes, clean out your reactors, clean out your filters. And there's the phone. Okay, sorry about that, the phone rang. But anyway, we're already getting up over 7 minutes in this video. I hope that helped. Like I said, coming up I'm going to do a 3-part series on the several ways you can get rid of ick from once you get them on your fish. So, this is Reef Rookie signing out. Remember, keep that water clean and those fish fat. Alright? Remember, like, subscribe, and like I said, once I reach 100 subscribers, someone's getting a mystery gift, and it's something pretty good, I think. So, take care. Any comments, please throw them on there. If you see anything wrong with my tank, throw them on there. It's much appreciated. Thanks a lot. And sorry about that phone ringing in the middle of it. I'm gonna have to turn the ringers off next time I make a video. So, that's it. Reef Rookie signing off.